Hey world, and welcome to the September wrap-up. And I did so well this month. I read so much, I watched so many new films, so let's jump right into it. So the first book I read was Timm Thaler by James Krüss, and this is actually a German children's book that I have never read. However, when I was a kid there was this animated show of it on TV, and I watched that like I think every day. I remember very distinctively that I loved it so much and that it was really important for me. And yeah, I saw this book somewhere and thought I'd just pick it up and finally read the original story, which, surprise, is quite a lot different than the TV show. The story is set in Hamburg and it's about this little boy who meets kind of the devil, you could say, and he makes a deal with this devil to sell the devil his laughter, and in return he wins every bet he ever takes. And he soon realizes that there wasn't such a good deal, so he tries to get his laughter back. In the show it was obviously made for kids, and therefore his friends were all kids, and they somehow went on this journey together, and in this it's basically adults that help him win his laughter back. I think that both stories are lovely and funny and also kind of creepy, this one more so than the show, because it is, as I said, kind of the devil he deals with. Then I finally read the episode of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, and this was again a buddy read with Lizzie. I had a lot of fun doing that again, and of course I'll leave her wrap-up of the book in the description down below. So I'm gonna say something about this book that you won't like probably, so hear me out. I thought this book was too diverse, and by that I don't actually mean that it's too diverse itself, it's just too obviously diverse. It felt to me like Becky Albertalli was really, I don't know, forcing herself to write diverse and also forcing the reader to see how diverse it was. It was like she was showing off with it. It all made sense. And once it was introduced, the story itself flew very well, and I loved the rest of the story. I think it was so adorable and cute, and I love the characters and the relationships and the difficulties these relationships go through. It was so realistic, but in the beginning, in the first like few, I don't know, 3 chapters maybe, it just, the construction of it all was too forced for me. The next book I read was Nijura or Nijura, however you want to pronounce it, by Jenny-Mai Nuyen. I probably don't have to say much about this because it's a Jenny-Mai Nuyen book. I love her, I will love everything she does, I adore her writing so much, and yeah, everything she does is just holy to me, and this was the same. This is actually her first book, and I can see a lot of things that, she kind of repeated in a way of adaptation kind of in her later works, which was really interesting because I read her later works first and then this one, so that was quite an interesting point of view for me, and it's just so mind-blowing to see this. I think she wrote this when she was like 16, at least that's when it was published, which is just amazing. And again, it's just mind-blowing to see how magical her writing was already back then, and it didn't develop that much, but it didn't have to, because it's just, I could probably write an entire own novel about how much I love Jenny-Mai Nuyen's writing style and her stories and her plot twists. Her plot twists are so amazing! Like, you don't understand, I can't make you understand how much I love this. The next thing I read, I kind of picked up on a whim because I saw it in a bookshop, and it was the first time I think I ever saw a manga series that was presented in a bookshop with the first part actually there. Like, it feels like every bookshop has like millions of mangas but only start with like the 7th part or something, so I can never buy them on a whim. But for this one they had the first 3 parts, and this is Graffiti of the Moment by Hinoki, Kino, and I probably butchered the name, I'm really sorry. These are mangas about fireworks. Look at these covers, they are just so damn gorgeous. Sadly enough, the illustrations in the books themselves are only black and white, so when we have descriptions of the fireworks in like colorful words, we only have black and white pictures for them, which was kind of sad, and I think it took a lot away from the story itself. But apart from that, the story is funny and cute and sad and dramatic and romantic, and yeah, I didn't expect it to be that full of emotions. I do have to say that I think the translation isn't that well done. I'm guessing it's the translation that's lacking and not the original work, because sometimes there are sentences or like words randomly thrown in that don't really make sense. And then I read two books that I actually didn't mean to read this month. You know that I just finished the Lunar Chronicles and said I would wait to read the companions. I also have the kind of challenge for myself this year to finish the Hitchhiker's Guide series. And I was only missing one part of that, and I thought I would like push that aside and do it like at the end of the year. However, Sanne from Books and Quills made a spontaneous readathon that was space themed, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna read these two. I expected more from Levana's backstory. I kind of expected it to be more of a character development. She felt quite two-dimensional in this one, and then the jump to her character that she was in the original series kind of seemed too far-fetched. I didn't really know what I expected, but it wasn't this, and I was a bit disappointed by it. Same, sadly enough, goes for the fifth part of the Hitchhiker's Guide. I will say that I think it was a really worthy end to the series. I think it worked really well with the rest of it. It had a similar tone and a similar idea behind it all. It kind of felt more dramatic, I guess, and less quirky. And then the last book I read, which I literally finished like 5 minutes ago, was the Murdstone Trilogy by Peet. I loved this book. I enjoyed reading it a lot, but not for the story itself. The idea of it, the way it was written, the way plot twists were put into it, and the way the characters were presented was so new and unexpected. I love having new stories that aren't anything like I expected them to be, that aren't predictable, that aren't, usual. And this was anything but usual, so I would recommend picking it up. So that's it for the books I read. As I said, quite a pile, but I also watched a lot of films and shows, and the first show I watched was GirlBoss. And I've heard so much about it, but never actually was interested in it. I'm not quite sure why. But then I did. And it was so great. I watched it in like 2 days, and I was crying and laughing and having existential crisis, and yeah, it was amazing. I totally get the hype. It's so deserving of all this talk about it, and if you haven't seen it yet, you should. You really, really should. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. I also watched The Intern right after that, which is a film about an old man who's retired but wants to do something with his life, and then becomes an intern in a new modern internet company. And it's so funny, especially because it works really well as a like 10-year later companion to GirlBoss. I know it's not intended like that, and they probably have nothing to do with each other, but for me it felt like it was like the perfect fit. So if you want to share this joy of coincidence with me, then watch The Intern. It's hilarious and adorable and emotional and really witty, actually. The second season of Marvel's Daredevil. I didn't want to see it. I honestly didn't. I stopped at season 1 and I didn't want to watch it. I just didn't like it. Daredevil is such a stupid character to me. But then I saw the first episode of The Defenders, which I really, really do want to see, and I noticed that I have to watch the other shows before that to understand what is even going on. So I forced myself through it, and let me say, it was a struggle. It's just so stupid. I'm gonna give this like a 2 out of 5, and these 2 points are for Kevin's research about the Punisher backstory and Foggy finally standing up for himself. And then I saw 3 films that just randomly popped up on my Netflix and I've never heard about before, but they were actually quite the perfect fit for me. The first of which was RealityHigh, which is a teeny film that, yeah, goes with all the teeny cliches, I guess. But it's still really witty and funny and emotional and dramatic, and I don't know, it's just, I somehow am a sucker for teen cliches that are with a little twist, and I can't quite tell you what the twist in this was, because it was honestly just so cheesy, like so cheesy, but it still feels really clever. To me, I don't know, have any of you seen the film? Let me know what you think. The other film I saw was Say When with Keira Knightley, which is always a selling point to me. And again, it was cute, it was funny, it was way too romantic and way too stupid at some points, to the point where I literally like stopped the film sometimes and thought about not finishing it, but I had to, and yeah. Again, I enjoyed it, it was a great film. This was more like the Sunday morning coffee film whilst you're doing something else, so you don't realize how stupid some of the things they say actually are. But again, cute, lovely, adorable. Also in that film, the child and teen actors were amazing. Like, they were so great. I've seen some of them before in like smaller roles that I can't quite remember and I don't know their names, but they were so great that I'm really gonna look out for more films with them and more shows with them. And the last film I saw was Handsome Devil, and that film is one of those films where I don't know if I'm happy or sad or devastated, or if I should cry or smile or laugh or whatever, because it was so honest in a really brutal but still romantic way. And I know this makes no sense to anyone who hasn't seen it, but let me just say that you should see it. You should really sit down and take the time and not do anything else. Probably watch it alone, I guess. You could watch it with someone you're really close to, but definitely watch it when you have time to be emotional. And yeah, that's it for my September wrap up. As I said, it was quite a bunch and I'm really happy with that, especially because uni starts next month, so I probably won't have that much time to read or watch anything. As per usual, let me know what you read or watched this month in the comments down below. I always love some recommendations, and if you have seen or read any of the things I talked about, let me know your thoughts on it as well. And yeah, I hope you always have a reason to smile, and I shall see you next week. Goodbye!